Good morning, my name's Angela and I'm from the Sheep Tree and... No, sorry, I thought Bex was going to say hi too. Sunday morning and it is about 7:45 and in order to get everything done this morning before I go to work I need to get my beans into the canner by 8 o'clock, hopefully. I've already... I put the beans to soak overnight. I drained them and I've rinsed them and put them on to boil whilst I went and jumped in the shower. Just run down and fed the chickens, picked the tripod up from down the garden for the camera, and I've got the canner warming up with the jars in it because I've got hot beans. They need to go into hot jars into a hot canner so I don't get any breakages. And I'll get those canned. Actually, quickly before I start that, I need to empty my Instant Pot electric pressure cooker because I had it on the yoghurt setting last night and it's got freshly made yoghurt in there which now needs to go and churn the fridge for a minimum of 4 hours before I can jar it up for use. And if you can see in there is my yoghurt. I use Jersey milk. I always get a bottle of Jersey delivered with my delivery, so that's why there's fat on the top of it. And I like, cream and fat, it's all good. So that's why it looks a bit funny. But yeah, nice and jiggly yoghurt. I will pop it in the fridge and then I'll crack on with the canning. Beans are now in the canner. I'm just waiting for the canner to vent and then I can bring it up to pressure. I've got, well, my Sunday mornings tend to be a case of getting all the jobs rammed in before I go to work. So I've got a lot of eggs, so I want to get some pasta dough made. That I think I will probably just hang and dry as like tagliatelle or something. And I've also just made my coffee and realised I need to grind some beans. My method for bean grinding is far from ideal. My grinder broke, so I'm currently using the smoothie attachment on my food processor. It by no means does a good job. It actually leaves quite chunky lumps of coffee bean in there, which is rather frustrating. So I will be rectifying that. I'll be doing my research and buying a new bean grinder. If anybody has any recommendations or suggestions, I think I want a manual one because I buy bulk coffee beans and if there's a power cut, I can always use my gas to make a cup of coffee, but I need to be able to grind the beans if I haven't got any beans ground. So I think I want a manual bean grinder and I will be looking into that and getting one of those. But in the meantime, use what you can. So yeah, we'll get going with the pasta dough and the coffee beans. Also notice that my little jar, which is this one here, of coffee mushrooms. So I put medicinal mushrooms in my coffee. They've got various like effects of like adaptogenic effects, helping with the immune system, helping with brain health. But if you're interested in those, there's plenty of excellent people on YouTube that can give you information, or you can look online or find some books. I definitely recommend looking into them. And as always, doing your own research. But I use them in my coffee once a day, and I have, rather than having this bag on the side, I have a little jar on the side, and the jar needs refilling. Once again, you're competing with the sound of my canner. If you follow me at all throughout the canning season, you will see that this is a thing that happens. I can't be helped. I'm very sorry. But food needs preserving, so, well, in this case, food needs making convenient. Yeah, I'm not sure if I mentioned that. The reason I'm canning beans is not because they don't preserve if left as they are, it's because if they're already cooked and in the cupboard, it's so much easier for me to just add a can to whatever I'm cooking, rather than having to plan ahead, soak it the night before, and then boil them up to cook them, and then add them to whatever I'm cooking. So that's the only reason why they're being canned. Right, so where were we? Yeah, pasta. Normally I mix the dough by hand. Today I'm going to try it in my food processor. If I'm not happy with how it's going, I will just dump it on the worktop and mix it by hand. I have got a dough blade rather than an actual blade, but the recipe I tend to use is 100 grams of flour to 1 egg. Then make whatever quantity I'm making, have a look at it and see if I need to add more egg or more flour. I have rigged up some pasta drying racks, which are simply a clean garden cane and whatever I need, and I've just secured them with a little bit of tape, that's all. So I'll get going, I'll make the dough, and then I will join you back with the pasta when the dough's rested and it's ready to be rolled. Whilst I was waiting for the dough to rest, I've just started off. I'm going to make a bean chilli with those beans that I just cooked. So that's on the go now. So if you see me flitting back and forth, that's what I'm doing. What I will do is I will cut off chunks of the dough. I'll flatten them, flour them, run them through the rolling side until I get down to the thickness I want. And then I'll flour them and I'll leave them just to dry whilst I'm doing the rest of them. And then because once they've dried a little bit, they cut better on the cutting side, and then I'll cut it down to I'll just use the tagliatelle side and then hang it. I'm not sure how much time I'm going to have to explain afterwards, so I'll do it now. When you hang pasta to dry, as it dries, it will curl. So you're not going to get perfectly straight pieces for storage. That's fine by me because I will store it in a container that can fit slightly curled pieces of tagliatelle. You'll also find that as it dries as well, they might break and drop. So where the bend is on the pole that I'm drying them along. So just make sure that the surface below is clean and dry, so you're okay to have dried pasta landing on that. Right, I'll get going. finished the pasta. It's hanging. I made it thin so that it would dry, because obviously it's not Bex, because it's not that. No, sorry, Bex wants pasta. Yeah, because it's obviously not the middle of summer, so it'll take a while for things to dry. So I made it thinner. However, it does mean that some bits keep breaking and falling. So I'm just going to keep an eye, and if I see bits that have fallen, I'll hang them back up. I have jarred up, this isn't preserved, this is just transport, some beans for the chap down the garage that helps us, and I normally take him some dinner so he can put those in a taco or a wrap or whatever he feels like, or on a jacket potato. And I made myself some pasta salad for lunch. That's what, if you spotted earlier on in the video, I was making some little bows with one of the rolls of pasta. That was for lunch. Got half an hour, I'm heading off to work. So I would just like to say thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.